Introducing examining individuals. The referee is Mark Doggo. The senior assistant referee is Christopher Swain. The junior assistant referee is Tim Wagner. And our head official is Mitchell Parkhill. Here now we start running for today's opponent, Phoenix Rising FC. Team captain forward number 14, Jason Johnson. In goal number 28, Zach Blue. Defender number 13, Avenue Dion. Defender number 32, Devontae Bowes. Defender number 2, Luigi Malo. Defender number 4, Nani Paul. Midfielder number 41, James Musa. Midfielder number 51, Vaughn Fraser. Midfielder number 26, Solomon Sante. Midfielder number 27, Vaughn Denver. Forward number 9, Christopher Cortez. Phoenix is coached by Patrice Carter. And now it's time to get this tournament for your home team, the Rangers. Team captain, defender, number 4, Ryan Hernandez. In goal, number 1, Adrian Second. Defender, number 44, Parker Moore. Defender, number 2, Amir Shikic. Defender, number 26, Jalen Lindsay. Midfielder, number 93, Rodrigo Sofia. Midfielder, number 85, Felipe Hernandez. Midfielder, number 90.
It's a big-time Western Conference matchup in the early stages of the 2018 USL season. Of course, last season in 2017, a wacky encounter between the Swope Park Rangers and Phoenix Rising in the playoffs. Will we have another one like that today? Stay tuned. It's the second-place Phoenix Rising taking on the sixth-place Swope Park Rangers. Kickoff coming up next. Good afternoon and welcome to Children's Mercy Park on a beautiful day in Kansas City, Kansas, the site for today's Western Conference matchup between the second place Phoenix Rising FC and the sixth place Swope Park Rangers. Alongside Nate Bucati, I am Carter Augustine. We'll be bringing you all the action from today's matchup, and it's a rematch, Nate, of a pretty wild encounter between these two teams at Swope Park last season in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was a good matchup then. There was obviously the weather delay a year ago in the playoffs. I don't think that's going to be a factor here this afternoon. The factor in terms of the elements that the players will be dealing with in this one is the stifling heat. It's 93 degrees as we approach kickoff. The sun is shining down on the field. There won't be much respite from the sun during the course of this game as well, with an early afternoon kickoff. So I'll be interested to see how the players deal with the elements here today, Carter.
It'll be very interesting to see how they deal with that on a wonderful Memorial weekend of soccer action all across the world. And let's take a look at the star man, or perhaps the most important man today for the Phoenix Rising FC. It's a return for James Musa. 21 appearances for the Swope Park Rangers last season, and he makes his return to Kansas City today. Yeah,
I thought he did well. He also even got an opportunity with Sporting Kansas City last year. Good holding midfielder, and certainly he's going to be anxious to get back here on this field for the first time since he was a part of the Swope Park Rangers team when they won in penalties to go to the USL Cup final.
Meanwhile, for the home side, the Swope Park Rangers, a player on loan from Sporting Kansas City, Brad Evans, plenty of experience to anchor this back line for the Rangers today.
Longtime leader and captain for Seattle Sounders. He's working his way back from a back injury. Peter Vermees, the head coach of Sporting Kansas City, hoping that he can get 90 minutes here today and show he's fit enough to play with the first team again.
Certainly should have a calming presence along the back line in what will be a very intense encounter between two of the top 6 teams in the USL Western Conference. Stay with us. We'll be back for the first half kick. Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, Kansas, as we're just about ready to start the game between Swope Park Rangers and Phoenix Rising FC. And let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's matchup, starting with the visitors. And Patrice Carteron, the manager for Phoenix Rising FC, has made 4 changes after they lost last time out 3-1 at home to Sacramento Republic. Just their 2nd loss of the season, Phoenix Rising. They're off to the best start in franchise history. And it's a formation change, Nate, as no Didier Drogba. They've been playing 3 at the back half, Phoenix Rising, but they're going back to a back 4 today. Yeah,
we've seen some 3-man back lines from Phoenix, but now a 4-4-2, and I'm interested to see the former Kansas City guys, Zach Lubin, Amadou Dia, and James Musa. I think they'll be up for this game today.
3 former Swope Park Rangers in the starting lineup for Phoenix Rising. Now for the home side, the coach Paulo Nagamura making 6 changes to the team that drew last weekend in Rio Grande Valley, including a few players down on loan. We talked about Brad Evans, but Jalen Lindsay also seeing his way into the starting lineup.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see the youngster Wilson Harris, that is, up top at 18 years old. I think he's getting the opportunity because Carlton Belmar might be playing for Sporting KC tomorrow with an injury on the attack for the front line for Sporting Kansas City. So a young guy from the academy getting a look here today.
And let's talk a little bit more, Nate, about Carlton Belmar as these 2 teams get lined up. That's a big story. The leading scorer in USL not available for the Swope Park Rangers today, so someone else will have to step up.
Yeah, as I said, Diego Rubio's been suffering from a bit of an injury for Sporting Kansas City. My guess is we'll see that Carlton Belmar might be on the bench for Sporting KC tomorrow, which makes that opportunity up top. So Blackwood, Harris, Barry, all for Swope Park Rangers have a chance to do something here today.
Meanwhile, for Phoenix Rising, that man, number 9, Chris Cortez, his 5 goals, good for 3rd in the league. He's getting his way back into the starting lineup, as making just his 6th start of the season. He's been a super sub as well, Chris Cortez. So he will be a big focal point in attack for the Phoenix Rising.
I also like seeing in the huddle there, you got the juxtaposition of Cortez versus Solomon Asante, who stands listed at 5'2". If you saw number 20 in the huddle there, he might not even be that tall, but he's got 4 goals and 3 assists on the season, so don't let the small size fool you.
We are underway here in Kansas City, Kansas. As Nate alluded to in pregame, it's a hot one. We're going to see if that will be a factor, perhaps a water break in store for these 2 teams today. as the Swope Park Rangers will be going from left to right in their traditional dark blue with the blue stripes. And Phoenix Rising wearing all white with red trim, going from right to left to start this first half. And it's a return for Zach Lubin as he hits this one towards the center circle. Lubin made 10 appearances for the Swope Park Rangers in 2016. Went and tried his luck out in Sweden at Lunkyle SK, which I'm sure I butchered.
Not fluent in Swedish?
I'm not.
Carter? Well, I think Lubin's going to like the fact that he's defending the south side of the stadium in the first half. He's the only man, basically, who will be playing in the shade this first half. And I know we talked about it. Don't want to make too big of a deal of it, but I think that being able to manage the elements will be a big factor in this game today. You want to possess the ball. We know Swope Park Rangers, through the Sporting Kansas City system, they base themselves off of a possession-based attack, and it's a lot less draining to possess the ball than it is to chase the ball if they can accomplish that here today. Dressed in the dark, by the way, here at home, Swope Park in the sunshine. I think that that's one of the ways you can try to combat the elements. It's not only hot today, it's very humid and there's no breeze as a relief whatsoever out on the field.
It's a very muggy day here this Memorial Day weekend. It's a weekend full of soccer all across the globe. So the Champions League final as well as the English Championship playoff final today. Got a big one in MLS, Sporting KC and Columbus Crew here tomorrow. USA playing on Monday. Plenty of soccer for this pre-World Cup period in the United States. Should be a wonderful weekend and fantastic weather here to start it off. These two teams have been feeling each other out in the early stages. It's been an interesting series between the two teams as there have been 4 draws and just 1 victory. Phoenix Rising getting the victory, so Swope Park Rangers haven't exactly beaten the Phoenix Rising FC in regulation, but perhaps the most important game between these two teams was last season in the playoffs, and it was a wild one as the game started on Saturday. There was a rain delay of over 2 hours, just about 2.5 hours, and then as they came back out to the pitch on Saturday, lightning struck again. They had to postpone it. Went to the following day, Sunday, to finish the game, in which Didier Drogba scored in extra time. But then Amir Djidic getting the equalizing goal, and the Swope Park Rangers were victorious in the penalty kick shootout. Found their way once again in the USL Cup final. So it'll be interesting to see how these two teams have that in mind with the return to Kansas City. They did play earlier this season, a 2-2 draw in Phoenix. The man you mentioned, Solomon Asante, with a 90th minute equalizer. Here's a troubling one for Lubin as he's fumbled it, and now it's a wide open net, and Haji Berry pounces. Trouble in the back, and Haji Berry gives the Swope Park Rangers the lead.
Well, it starts with a really big mistake by Zach Lubin. He's got to do a much better job of gathering in this ball. First of all, his play up the field is poor. It's knotted back into his area, and he just fumbles it here. But take nothing away from Haji Berry. Cool as you like, he had a defender in front of him in Mala. He was able to stay calm and composed. That's a good finish, even with an open net from a tough angle. So Haji Berry, opportunistic, but also calm on the ball when he got his opportunity, and he made no mistake with it.
How about that shift of the feet to send Mala to the turf on his backside? You mentioned it. Fantastic finish from that angle for Haji Berry, his 4th goal of the season. Only player to start all 10 matches, make it 11 now for Swope Park Rangers, and you can see why.
We talked about Zach Lubin. There's a man down right now for Swope Park Rangers, Rodrigo Saravia, who looks like he's going to be okay, but you never know how a guy's going to react coming back to a former club. Zach Lubin, sure anxious, wants to do well here today. I think it all started, Carter, with playing out of the back the way that he tried to and played it into traffic right in the middle of the field. That's a big no-no right there, but then easily could have gathered that ball up, and it was just simply a fumble and led to a big goal for Swope Park Rangers right off the bat.
Just one one error on top of the other there for Zach Lubin, who has played himself into the starting lineup in the past couple of games, taking over for the minute leader Carl Wazinski, who in terms of minutes leader, I mean all-time minutes leader for this Phoenix Rising FC franchise. Wazinski available on the bench. Zach Lubin has started the last 3 games. It's a costly mistake in the early stages here. So how do Phoenix Rising respond? Of course, this team, as Mateo Silva takes a whack from distance, that isn't going to trouble Lubin at all. This team, Phoenix Rising, scored the most goals in USL with 23, so you'd expect them to find themselves back into this game. Just 6 minutes have transpired here in Kansas City. Just before the goal, Nate, I was talking about the 2-2 draw these two teams played out in Phoenix earlier this season. Asante with the 90th minute equalizer down in Phoenix for Phoenix Rising. Here's a great touch forward, and here is Asante just outside the area. Oh, just wide. Had Zendejas scrambling to his left-hand post.
That first touch just carried it maybe a little too far to his right. He brought it down with his left foot, wanted to get it onto his right foot as he did there. But watch that touch, maybe just one step too far off to his right. Wasn't able to get his foot entirely around it to put it back on frame.
So Asante must have had his ears burning, heard us talking about his 90th minute equalizer. Also had an assist in that game in the 2-2. But who scored the 2 goals for the Swope Park Rangers? Of course, Carlton Belmar, off to such a fantastic start this season. Missing today. The Rangers, through Haji Berry, have this early lead. Jidic now heads it down to Mateo Silva, making just his 4th appearance of the season. Silva. And for that holding midfield position that we've seen Kuzain really stake claim to for the Swope Park Rangers.
I've been really impressed with Kuzain, the youngster. He's still not 20 years old yet, and he looks slight of frame when you see Kuzain play, but his calmness on the ball, he plays much more physically than maybe his frame would indicate. But this is an opportunity for Silva to show what he can do in what is a very important position in this system.
Here's a ball forward for Jason Johnson onto his left foot, and there's some warning signs here for the Swope Park Rangers defense as a couple of swift counterattacks from Phoenix Rising. This time the captain, Jason Johnson, just sending it wide.
Well, he got a step on Brad Evans there, but Evans closing it down, maybe hurrying the shot just a little bit, but sure, Jason Johnson will have wanted to do better there and at least test the goalkeeper from that range.
That's a couple times it's been turned over in midfield, and see how quickly Phoenix Rising can get up the other end. There's a 50-50 ball won by Johnson, but Sarabia's there to collect the second ball, and now it drops all the way back with Adrian Zendejas, another one of the Sporting players on loan here in the starting lineup for Paulo Nagamura. Johnson has done well to initially get past Sarabia. Recovers, sends the ball out for a corner kick.
Well, knowing the way that Paulo Nagamura likes to handle things, he won't want his Swope Park Rangers side to shrink back into a low block at this point just because they've gotten the early goal. He'll want his team to continue to push forward and push possession, but so far the response by Phoenix has been good since conceding that goal.
And they have a corner here, try and continue forcing the issue. It's headed away at the near post by Tyler Blackwood. A couple of ping pong bouncy headers, and now Harris can start a fast break here. 2-on-2 for the Rangers. It's laid off into the path of Felipe Hernandez. That's asking a lot of the SKC Academy product, but he's pressured really well and forced a turnover here. Rangers still with the ball in attack. We'll settle it down here. Mateo Silva.
I think that Baji just made the wrong choice there. He had the overlapping run on the right-hand side by Tyler Blackwood and just didn't see the run. There was a lot of space for Blackwood, who was a little frustrated making an 80-yard run and not getting the reward for it, but I don't think Baji quite saw the pass. Could have been an opportunity for Swope Park Rangers to hit on the counter there, but now they'll enjoy some possession, which could be just as important.
That's a good spot, Nate. Of course, Blackwood had headed the initial corner away at the near post and then got on his horse. Haji Berry electing to try and slide it forward for Felipe Hernandez. Here's Hernandez, who picks it up as a goal off the post.
What a hit by Hernandez.
Fantastic strike from Felipe Hernandez, just inches away from doubling Swope Park Rangers' lead. And this one's starting to open up with Phoenix Rising trying to come back the other way. Commentator's curse. Jason Johnson puts it out of frame, and oh my goodness, what a hit here from Felipe Hernandez.
I mean, that thing had some absolute knuckling action on it from about 25 yards away, and another one of those youngsters, Felipe Hernandez, 19 years old, has shown some real quality for Swope Park Rangers, and he wasn't very far off from a golazo right there.
Boy, he shifted it onto his right. Oh my goodness, did he smack that one.
But where's the pressure from Phoenix Rising in a situation like that? You can't allow a player to take a touch and have a clean look at goal from straight on 25 yards away.
Seen some gaps in both of these teams' back lines here in the opening 10 minutes and change. This one off to a fast-paced start. Solomon Asante inside now. Kayvon Lambert. And Lambert's attempted pass to his compatriot. Drifts out of play there for Phoenix Rising. As I mentioned, home loss for Phoenix Rising last time to Sacramento. They only have 2 losses on the season. Both are at home. They're 4-0-1 on the road this season. Phoenix Rising.
Impressive. And they're not going to be intimidated by the heat either. I think coming from Phoenix, they know a thing or two about hot temperatures. Now, maybe not the humidity. That could be a different factor for them. But what an impressive away record. And for Swope Park Rangers, only 3 home matches so far this season.
The Rangers coming back from a 3-game road trip, and they'll head back on the road for 2 more after this one. In the midst of a very big road swing. They got 4 points from their 3-game road trip. Not a bad return. Here's
What
a
a
good
ball.
Out left. Parker Marr inside. It's a great pass and just a hacked attempt at the shot from Haji Berry as he looked to double his tally.
This all starts, though, from the ball by Amir Jidic. Perfectly weighted down the left-hand side. Good cutback. And a good first touch by Haji Berry. But he was falling away from goal, maybe losing his balance just a little bit.
Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do here, right? Trying to curl it in for the far post.
Got underneath it a little bit, and then in the end, couldn't get the bend on it whatsoever. But that was good play from Swope Park Rangers, and a great ball once again from the center half. Amir Jidic down that left-hand side to Parker Maher.
Took several defenders out of the play with that wonderful pass to Parker Maher. And now Maher and Berry have some defending to do. As Phoenix Rising getting forward, it's a pretty good ball into the edge of the area. Flicked on for Jason Johnson, who tries to touch it around Jalen Lindsay, and they're going to give a corner here.
Well, this is a misplayed ball by Zendejas, Carter. He, I thought, was a little slow to come out to it in the first place. He's frustrated. He thought maybe the ball was knocked out of his hands. I'll be interested to see here, is there any contact that leads to him losing this ball? Well, it's his own teammate. Does Jason Johnson maybe knock him into that a little bit, Carter? I think that's the only case that Zendejas could have made, but I think he's got to be stronger and hold that ball anyway.
Yeah, Johnson into Evans, as you mentioned, Evans clattering into Zendejas. Here's the corner from that play. Jidic rises high to head it back up into the air. Still in the box, though, for Phoenix. A little poked attempt by Kevon Frater. And it's hacked away by the Swope Park Rangers.
Jidic is a good physical presence, especially on set pieces. Such a big frame. Tallest player on the field almost every time out. And I think he's gotten better and better during his professional career at using that size and becoming more of an intimidating presence. I don't know that that necessarily, Carter, matches his natural personality, but if you're a player in his position, you've got to make that part of your game, and he's done a better job of that as his career's gone on.
Okay, the shouts from the Phoenix bench there as they wanted something called on Brad Evans with the high kick. Amir Jidic, one of those players on loan from Sporting KC. 4 of them in the starting lineup today, all along the back line. Parker Maher, the one exception, as now the referee, head ref Farhad Dodko, coming over to have a word with the Phoenix bench. Again, some loud protests after it looked like a high boot from Brad Evans there. Cortez just sticking his nose in, but nothing giving. And just a warning for the bench as well. Quarter of an hour gone here in Kansas City, Kansas. Haji Berry's goal, the difference between these two teams. Blackwood, impressive touching off the head there to keep it alive, but just a little too aggressive in the end. He's whistled for the foul.
I think he has a little bit of a case there. I thought that was a physical challenge all the way down the right-hand side, and I'm not sure that he did anything differently than what his counterpart, Amadou Dia, the former Kansas City man, was up to in that situation, but he's the one called for the foul.
Lubin sends this high into the humid sky. As the two teams battle out along the midway line. Cortez now earning a foul for his team.
It's the second foul in short order on Tyler Blackwood, so he'll have to be a little careful now.
Fresh on the mind of the head referee, Tyler Blackwood. He's got one goal this season for Swope Park Rangers. Came here at Children's Mercy Park, so perhaps a welcome return for the 26-year-old. Well, fans, Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Amadou Dia standing over this free kick. He'll take it short. It's cleverly disguised. Asante now trying to curl one into the shoulder of Brad Evans. Kind of a half-hearted appeal from Phoenix Rising players. I don't think that was ever going to be given.
That would have been extremely harsh.
But it was a well-disguised set piece there to get Asante into some space. Now he plays it back for Amadou Dia, and his cross is blocked away for a Phoenix throw. Looks like we may see a long throw here from Amadou Dia, or perhaps it's some more disguising of a set piece. Dia, long throw into the 6. It's headed backwards by Lindsay. Adrian Zendejas using his full 6'5" frame to gather that one.
I'm not sure that Jalen Lindsay will be happy with that first ball. You're not intentionally going to flick it across your own goal mouth, the young right back, but Zendejas was ready for it.
There's Mateo Silva just misjudging the bounce of the ball in midfield, and Jason Johnson trying to slide it in behind. That was a good idea from Johnson, but well read by Brad Evans.
33 years old, Brad Evans, by far the eldest statesman on the field for Swope Park Rangers here today, working his way back to fitness, as we said. Suffered a back injury, trying to get himself back into full fitness and show that he can play some minutes
Back, Tyler. Good.
Another
this
corner.
season.
Sorry, Nate. Another corner for Phoenix Rising, and that was a really good opportunity. You could hear the ooze from the bench, the Phoenix bench there, as Johnson got the run at the near post.
What we have seen is that coming out of these corner kicks, Sporting KC have had an opportunity to get numbers forward before the Rising could completely organize.
Yeah, it's a quick restart here from the goal kick, taken quickly, and now the Rangers already up the other side of the pitch.
I know that's how Paulo Nagamura drills this team. They want to take the restarts as quickly as possible.
Silva clipping one into the box, headed away, back now with Silva. That's something that the first team, that Sporting Kansas City do as well. One of those top-down methodologies.
Yeah, the vertical integration, they call it. It's all about the system in Kansas City. And we talked about the fact that on the flip side, Phoenix maybe changing formations up a little bit. There's been a few different times here in the first 20 minutes, Carter, that I've noticed a little bit more space for the Swope Park Rangers midfielders than I think that the Rising would like to have, and maybe that's a little bit of just getting down, the system, knowing exactly each person's responsibilities with 3 players in the midfield for Swope Park Rangers versus that 4-2-2-2 maybe formation that we're seeing from Phoenix.
It's a great spot, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see how organized this Phoenix Rising team is with a pretty new formation in terms of what they've played so far this season. Of course, off to such a fantastic start, Phoenix Rising.
I like Lindsay's ability to get forward on this right-hand side.
Here he is cutting inside the area, just trying to lay it off for Tyler Blackwood, and the seas parted there a little bit for Jalen Lindsay.
Yeah, I was there. I think Blackwood didn't quite anticipate the pass from Lindsay. I thought that was the right move. Jalen Lindsay, one of the things that I know that Paulo Nagamura likes about his young right back, his ability to get forward. He's not afraid to cut inside. And look like maybe just a half step slow to turn and run onto that for Blackwood. He might be able to get there in front of Dia.
Good shielding work from Dia in the end to see that one out for a goal kick. Of course, Amadou Dia, 32 games for Sporting Kansas City over 2 seasons, and mix in 3 appearances for Swope Park Rangers during his time in Kansas City as well.
Dia shows some real flashes of quality. He originally from Paris, France, but went to college at Clemson, drafted by Sporting Kansas City.
It's a good spot of Cortez, and he's taking it down. A little bit frustrated, Chris Cortez, after he plucked that one from the sky, and Kevon Frater charging in, takes it off his toe and puts it into Rosie.
That one made it all the way up onto the catwalk above Rosie. Standing room only section there here at Children's Mercy Park.
Testing the physical boundaries of the stadium with that one. It was a good idea from Frater. He had a fantastic year last year for Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Making the move to Phoenix Rising, just making his 2nd start of the season, Kevon Frater. He's been trying to support this man, Chris Cortez, in the early stages of the attack for Phoenix today. But we saw Cortez there gathering a little bit of space. Tried to interchange with Jason Johnson, and that was a heavy collision in midfield.
Well,
and that's James Musa running into you, and that is a big guy.
Well, I think Musa got maybe a little nudge from behind by Rodrigo Saravia from Swope Park Rangers, and that nudge pushed him right into the path of Mateus Silva, and that is a collision of 2 sturdy players. Boy.
Well, Silva listed at 6'2", James Musa at 6 foot, and Silva is, like you said, a big guy himself, 200 pounds, but James Musa, former Swope Park Ranger, that's you do not want to be on the receiving end of a truck stick like you just saw there. Hopefully Mateus Silva is okay. This actually may just allow the referees to stop for a water break. Or no, perhaps there's just an impromptu water break, as I am hearing word that we will be having one in the first half.
Certainly the heat indices here would indicate it today. As we said, the temperatures are in the mid-90s. There's a high humidity. There is not much breeze, and the players are out in the sunshine. So for all those reasons, we're going to see those water breaks, deservedly so. Got to keep everybody safe out there. The good news is it appears that Silva is okay, Moose is okay.
Trying to work Silva back onto the field. He's finally allowed back on, and now charging straight back into the box because Phoenix pressing forward. They're going to get, I believe, their 4th corner here in the first half. Here, Adrian Zendejas barking out orders as it's another corner for the Swope Park Rangers to defend, another one for Solomon Asante to take for Phoenix Rising. Does he have his sights set? Asante, good delivery in towards the 6. Second ball Just a boot through it by Felipe Hernandez, and a chance for the Swope Park Rangers to reorganize. Get a player's perspective of all the action around the USL every Wednesday as the Tampa Bay Rowdies' Jack Blake hosts the Blake Down on the USL YouTube channel. It's good shielding work there by Frater. And now Musa looking over the top for Johnson. And Johnson a little frustrated, said he wants it into his feet. Von Frater, 23-year-old, on loan from Harborview in Jamaica.
It was an opportunity for Swope Park Rangers to play out of the back here. It initially appeared as though Phoenix were going to step up the pressure a little bit, but at the end, Jason Johnson ended up pulling away as Swope Park Rangers, part of the system again, want to play out of the back even if they're facing high pressure. I just got to think it's going to be really hard to high press. One thing, you're away from home, but for another thing, we talk about the conditions again. It's going to take a lot of energy to try to chase this ball around, but Phoenix end up forcing the turnover by Swope Park Rangers in their own half.
Just luring a pass into Mateo Silva, who mishandled, and this leads to a good chance here for Phoenix Rising in attack. Lambert lays it off now for Mike DeFont. It's a poor pass in midfield, and Saravia comes away with it for the Swope Park Rangers. Good pass from Silva. He's found Barry in some space. Saravia's there for support, but Barry goes inside. Parker Marr slides it across to Hernandez. Just left his pass short there for Jalen Lindsay, allowed Dia to come in and steal it away. Good strength there from Jason Johnson. Withstands the challenge from Mateo Silva.
Yeah, Silva called for the foul. They're getting physical in the midfield right now.
Second foul on Silva in quick succession. Jason Johnson led the team in scoring last season. He's got 3 goals to his name this season as he came over from San Antonio FC before the start of last season. There's a hefty challenge from Musa. Nate's right.
That was a poor decision by Musa to let that ball run through. He didn't have as much space in the midfield as he thought, and then he went into that physical challenge to try to make up for it.
So the Rangers just dwelling in possession here with the 1-0 lead as we approach the half-hour mark here in the first half. Hernandez just a little too lackadaisical, but luckily for him, Wilson Harris was alert. All the way back with Adrian Zendejas, making his 5th start of this campaign. Zendejas for the Swope Park Rangers, such a fabulous effort here at Children's Mercy Park throughout the playoffs last season.
Vital, I've said it before, Carter, but I'll say it again, it's vital to maintain possession here.
Here's a good 1-2, and Lindsay charging into the area just on the outside, says the referee.
I think that's the right call at first blush. It was right on the 18. We're going to take another look at it, Carter, but I think the referee got it right. We'll see again here. He doesn't get another look at it the way that we do. It's a great ball back to Lindsay on the 1-2 here. And, yep, that's about a foot outside of the penalty area. No doubt about it, it's a foul. And it was great link-up play, once again, between Blackwood and Jalen Lindsay. We talked about his ability on that right-hand side, and it's going to result, Carter, in a booking as well.
First yellow of the game goes to Amadou Diaz, so not a happy return thus far for Diaz to Children's Mercy Park. Excellent interchange along this right flank.
And a great spell of possession by Swope Park Rangers. They must have strung 15 passes together, brought it down the right-hand side, back across the back line, back to the right-hand side, you know, maintaining possession and then coming up with some relevant possession at the end as well.
This coaching staff has talked about making possession count. Doesn't count for much if you just have the number. You have to turn it into, as Nate said, relevant possession. There's a good interchange along the right flank between Blackwood and Lindsay. Now a free kick. Zach Lubin sizing up his wall. Blackwood steps over. Hernandez rattles one off the seats behind Zach Lubin's goal.
Look, I think you really wanted to test Lubin there, considering that the one goal that's happened so far through the first half an hour of this game came because of a Lubin mistake. You've got to wonder what his confidence level is like right there, but there's just no topspin whatsoever. You could see the reaction from Hernandez. He knew he didn't catch that the right way as soon as he made contact, and now we get that water break, Carter. This is the official one to try to cool things off for these guys.
Official water break here as conditions are hot and humid. Two teams will head to the sideline, as will the referees. Half an hour played. Swope Park Rangers up a goal to the good. And Nate Bukaty, what have you seen so far in this first half between these two sides?
Well, I think that Swope Park Rangers have been the better side. I don't know whether or not the result, do they deserve a one-goal lead at this point? It really became not out of great play from Swope Park Rangers in that moment. I will say the high press did play into the goal that Swope Park Rangers scored. It really, though, was just a big mistake by Zach Lubin in the back in goal. But that man right there, in Haji Berry, he took advantage of it. And goal scorers, that's one of the things you have to do. You have to take advantage of opportunities like that. He was calm on the ball once the ball fell to him. He was able to touch it around. He didn't just panic and fire a shot toward goal, and he rolled it in nicely. But I think that Swope Park Rangers have actually had some better opportunities since then. And for me, if you're Swope Park Rangers, the reason that I keep talking about possession and I keep talking about the conditions, it's all about game management, right? I think that if you possess the ball the way that Swope Park Rangers have so far for stretches in this game, and you force Phoenix Rising to continue to chase the game, then that's going to have a cumulative effect. It could take shape in the second half, maybe even of this game. So it's also a way to protect your lead, but it's also a way to wear down your opposition and see if you can strike with a knockout blow either late in the first half or in the second half. For Phoenix, I thought their response was really good, Carter, to the initial goal, the mistaken goal. They came back. They had their best opportunities right after that goal, but after that, I thought Swope Park Rangers really found their footing again, and Phoenix haven't been able to create as much as they want. They just haven't had that midfield play that I think they need to have more opportunities created so far.
Yeah, tough matchup there in midfield for Phoenix Rising with that triangle in midfield for Swope Park Rangers really controlling the ball at the moment. Swope Park Rangers with 5 shots and 1 on goal. That's the goal by Haji Berry. Phoenix Rising with 3 shots. They have yet to test Adrian Zendejas with a shot on goal. They have found some good pockets of space at times and behind the SPR back line. As referee Farhad Dadko whistles the ball to be put back into play after this water break. Hopefully teams recharged, re-energized to attack the last 15 minutes of this first half. Lubin, it's well won by Silva. Now Evans calms things down, spreads it right, and maybe a chance for Jalen Lindsay to stretch his legs. Berry back now with Lindsay. Sarabia gets it back from Lindsay. Very patient here from the Swope Park Rangers.
And I think that's fine, Carter. Again, yes, you want relevant possession, but possession, again, achieves a purpose. And now you have a giveaway, and Phoenix could have had a foul there, but advantage is played on, and they've got a chance to get forward.
Advantage played by the referee as Hernandez lost out on the ball and then fouled Lambert in midfield, but in the end, Cortez first touch straight into the arms of Adrian Zendejas.
That was going to be tough for Cortez to bring down with the left foot from midair like that, but if he brings it down right to his foot, he's got a chance on goal there.
And Nate, that really has been the best part of the Phoenix attack right now is this first half, a mistake in midfield leading to a breakaway for the Rising on the other end.
That's really been the opposite of what we've seen from Swope Park Rangers. They have been more patient in the build-up, linking passes together, and then finding a soft spot in that Phoenix Rising low block. On the flip side, as you might expect for an away team, it's been more, creating a turnover than trying to strike quickly for Phoenix.
Wilson Harris Dribbling into space, carving out room for a shot, and a hopper into the chest of Zach Lubin, but some good enterprise there from Wilson Harris, SKC Academy product, and committed to play at the University of Louisville.
Needs a little more power on the shot there, but I like the confidence to pull the trigger. And one of the things we've noticed a couple of times so far, Felipe Hernandez had an opportunity from a very similar spot. That area from about the 18 to the 25-yard area, right outside of the penalty spot, has had some open spaces for Swope Park Rangers. I don't mind those guys pulling the trigger when they have a chance to measure up the goal.
Here's the right back. Devontae DeBose getting forward. He slides it inside for Solomon Asante. Now Lambert. Just about getting that one over to Diaz. Blackwood had a watchful eye. DeFont. Up for Cortez, and now it's headed into the path of Asante, cutting it onto his right foot. It's a decent strike and a decent save as well from Adrian Zendejas.
Well, you can tell with Asante, he's looking to get that ball on his right foot to fire the shot at any opportunity. And that time, it was Parker Maher kind of ushering him over to that right-hand side, but a tougher angle from there and a relatively easy save for Zendejas at the end of the day.
Phoenix Rising lead the USL in shots as well, having taken 181 coming into this game. You can see, not afraid to try from distance.
That was the first save of the game for Zendejas.
Maher taking his time to tread forward and take this throw in an advanced position for the Rangers. Rangers will play it back, trying to draw Phoenix out. You can hear Patrice Carteron giving instructions to his defenders all the time, communicating with the back line. Saravia now finds Maher, back with Saravia. It's a good stretch of possession again for Swope Park Rangers in towards the leaping Felipe Hernandez. Just a tad tall for Felipe.
I like the idea there, though. It was a good diagonal run from Hernandez, and he would have had time and space to bring that ball down. Just a little unlucky on the delivery.
Kevon Frater wants a run at Brad Evans. He's got past center back for the Rangers. It's a good intervention, though. Couldn't tell if that was Maher or Jidic getting in the way of Frater's attempted cross. Good work there from Frater as Jidic again stepping forward and intercepting in a dangerous position.
Well, it was difficult for Brad Evans, I think, to maintain pace down that left-hand side. And we talked about it a couple times, working his way back into fitness. He's got the experience on his side, but there are a lot of youthful legs all around him out here on this field. And it's interesting to see the way the pace maybe has an impact in this one so far.
He's got 3 Jamaicans running at him. Of course, Brad Evans, famous for a late winner for the U.S. men's national team down in Jamaica. One of the most important goals in qualifying for Brazil. That was quite some time ago.
Well, I don't know how the Jamaicans do it, but they are famous for fast people as well.
They're famous for fast people. So, there's Evans clearing it forward. Harris battling well with DeFont. Tried to slide it inside, but well read by Mike DeFont.
Yeah, Wilson really done well to win that ball, and he had a chance to slide a teammate through there, but DeFont with a good interception.
Harris looking for, Hernandez looking for the run of Saravia. Now inside with Silva. Fizzed it back out to Jalen Lindsay. Just trying to prod and probe the Swope Park Rangers here. Undefeated at home this season are the Rangers, but just played 3 games, 2-0-1.
I like seeing Swope Park Rangers reverse the ball here. They've been getting a little stuck on the right-hand side of late. I don't know if they're just naturally gravitating over to the shade. Obviously, they've got some really good players over there, like this man, Jalen Lindsay. But you don't want to get stuck on one side too much.
I wonder if that shade is playing a part here.
If there's good combination play over here, though. You can see the understanding between these players.
Blackwood cutting in onto his left foot.
And not his favorite foot, didn't quite hit it as hard as he wanted to, probably.
It's a tame shot in the end, but as Nate mentioned, some good interchange between Blackwood and Lindsay. We've seen that here along this right-hand side in the first half. Well, the USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow @USL on Twitter. Mike DeFont, just saw some good defensive work from him. Of course, he's on loan from the Colorado Rapids. Played 17 games for the Rapids last year, DeFont. Here's a good flicked on header, though. And Phoenix Rising up the other end.
Hey, Cortez is coming back. Cortez
Frater.
is like this.
Well, you can hear Adrian Zendejas felt that Cortez had come from an offside position.
From that offside position, he was able to flick a header on to Kevon Frater, who perhaps had better options than to take the shot on there.
I thought that was good defense by Jidic, just to stand him up, usher him over to his left foot.
Here's good interplay, and now Frater in behind on the pass from Cortez, and what a save, kick save, Zendejas, to keep this thing at 1-0 to SPR.
That was the best chance of the game so far for Phoenix. And a good save by Zendejas, but I think that at the same time, Frater will want to have done better there. Put it on frame, kept it low, but really, Zendejas didn't even have to get to full extension to kick that ball away with his right foot. It's a great through ball.
Seen Cortez and Frater start to combine here in the latter stages of this half. Now Dubose getting forward. Just a miscommunication between he and Asante. And a calm turn on the ball, and the pass slid out to Haji Berry. Just tried to tap it around to Wigimala. Couldn't come off for Berry in that instance.
Well, I think I heard the Swope Park Rangers coaches yelling for their players to keep it on that last run. And you can understand why Berry, once the ball came to him, thought that he had a chance maybe. But once he sees that there are two defenders in front of him, unless he's really confident in his ability to run through them, I think.
Ball in from Asante, really testing Cortez, trying to keep it in play. He lifts it to the back post. Good communication there from Zendejas to alert Mar. And now Zendejas can calmly pick that one up, but it wasn't calm for a moment there for the Swope Park Rangers back line.
And that's why I was trying to make the point that I think it might have been smarter for Berry maybe to check that run up and maintain a little possession. I know I sound like a broken record there, Carter, but again, right after the warning shot that Swope Park Rangers just saw from Phoenix Rising, you want to make sure you get to the locker room with this 1-0 lead and regroup at this point. No doubt the players are feeling the effects of the heat this late in the half, and sometimes maybe take a little sting out of the game. You don't want to open yourself up for a turnover, and it turned into a goal-scoring opportunity again for Phoenix by giving the ball away there.
1-0 the score as we enter the final minute of regular time here in the first half. Should have a couple minutes thanks to a water break and the goal scored by Haji Berry.
Had an injury stoppage as well for Mateus Silva.
That's a good point. A lengthy injury stoppage at that. So curious to see how much time will be added on here at the end of the first half. But Phoenix Rising starting to really come into it here in the latter stages. As it's a good step from Dia just in front of Tyler Blackwood. Hearing there'll be 3 minutes added here in the first half.
You don't want to concede one of those late goals. Obviously, that seems maybe like an obvious statement when you have a 1-goal lead, but those late goals have a tendency to really just change the entire complexion of things. You want to go in and have a happy locker room, cool down with that 1-goal lead if you're Swope Park Rangers, and you're seeing them now a little more patient here, as it looks like both teams are just about ready to get into out of the heat for a little bit and regroup.
Not exactly the most pressing in possession here, the Rangers, and not the most pressing in the press as of right now, Phoenix Rising. Although here they go stepping it up, putting the pressure on Parker Marr. Handles it well. And again, the Rangers will go back to Zendejas in between the sticks. Risky pass there from Zendejas, and Marr unable to corral it. Another chance here for Phoenix Rising. Good ball into Cortez. Switches the feet. Cortez onto the right. Blocked away by Jidic. Asante now. He sends that one high and wide. But again, Phoenix Rising causing a turnover high up the pitch, and it leads to a chance.
Again, Swope Park Rangers were being a little patient there, but once Phoenix started to slowly step the pressure up, they looked a little tenuous on that left-hand side. Maher almost turned it over once, then it came back to him. He turned it over. He was in a difficult position, but wasn't able to deal with it. A couple of shot attempts later for Phoenix.
So perhaps it's the Swope Park Rangers more anxious to get into halftime here. Phoenix really has been ramping up the pressure. There's some contact. DeBose goes to ground, nothing given. So the Rangers continue on.
He was trying to sell a high elbow by Wilson Harris, but the referee was right there, didn't give it.
Evans sprays it out to Jalen Lindsay. Chalk on his boots. Keeping it in play. Now Evans patiently finds the youngster Harris. Evans just maybe losing track of Chris Cortez there, but was able to keep track of the ball.
No problem. No problem for the veteran.
In the end, it's just pumped forward and to relieve the pressure for Phoenix for the time being. Almost a slow trot here to the halftime break between these two teams. It was an energetic start in this game. Haji Berry scoring inside of 5 minutes. And it was back and forth for the opening 15 or 20 or so. Still just the one goal in it. Saravia does well to invite Hernandez into the attack. Now Saravia again. Berry cutting it back into danger. And that will be the last act of the first half. Well, it was a lightning fast start in this game, and this man, Haji Berry, with his 4th goal of the season, that is the difference here at halftime. We'll go into the halftime break with a score of the Swope Park Rangers 1, Phoenix Rising FC 0. Stay with us as we'll be back for all the halftime stats, highlights, and analysis. You're watching the Swope Park Rangers versus Phoenix Rising FC. Welcome back into halftime in Kansas City, Kansas, as the Swope Park Rangers lead through a Haji Berry goal by a score of 1-0 over Phoenix Rising FC. Well, we're here at Children's Mercy Park in KCK, and just across the interstate there has been a new development as the Pinnacle Training Center was opened up for Sporting Kansas City and USA in terms of national team development, and we were there with a behind-the-scenes look at the Pinnacle Training Center.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic that we're finally here after the build-up. But I mean, what a day to have all these announcements as well, right? You got the Tournament of the Nations, you got Jill here. You know, so I think to have them as the first team through from the women's national team is fantastic. But what a great group we had here. The commissioner, folks from U.S. Soccer, great for Children's Mercy, great for the state of Kansas and UG. So it's just exciting to be here finally. We've arrived and we've had this vision for 5 years now, and so thrilled to get it open and going.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was important to be here, not just for the opening of this facility, but also for the announcement. We're excited to come here. It's the first game of our Four Nations tournament, an important part of our preparation for qualifying. And, you know, I think Kansas has been a great facility and venue for us, so we're looking forward to play here. I think, you know, I watched the online tour, and I think you actually have to be here to fully appreciate it. I think it's phenomenal. I mean, it's world class is the moniker you put on a place like this, and you know, I think it sets a bar very high, and I also think it's going to facilitate, you know, growth not just in our coaching and refereeing, but you know, also in our young players.
To have a model ownership group that's created an incredible organization led by Jake and led by Peter and Rob and others. This is a model team and a model franchise for Major League Soccer, and it's in Kansas City. And as we travel around and you hear about the big markets dominating professional sports, the showcase and the model for Major League Soccer is here in Kansas City.
Really great to take a look at the opening ceremony for the Pinnacle Training Complex. Of course, Swope Park Rangers will benefit, but so will U.S. Soccer, as referees and coaches especially do a lot of training already at the Pinnacle Training Complex. You're watching Swope Park Rangers as they lead by a score of 1-0 over Phoenix Rising FC at halftime. We'll be right back with halftime stats and analysis as we move forward in this Western Conference battle.
If you ever wondered what 102 appearances for your club looks like documented, there it is in TIFO right there, the Brad Ring.
With T2. Oh, and it's a goal. What a strike from Los Dos. Efrain Alvarez has come into the game. 15-year-old strikes it. Now Alvarez with a shot. And what a strike by Alvarez, who now has 6 goals in the last 3 matches.
Now just outside the 18, strikes it with his right foot, and right on cue. A huge goal.
And finds Langsdorff. He takes the shot and puts it in the back of the net. Langsdorff has a brace in the first half.
Takes hesitation step, and it's the save produced by Eric Dick.
Saved by Crapo.
Put numbers back. Will strike it and put it in the back of the net. Marvin Loria likely seals the 3 points with his first ever goal in USL.
This one comes into the center. There's your goal! The goal! The goal for OKC! The header by Callum Ross. The streak is over, and the Greens have the lead 1-0. The power outage is no more.
Into the box, takes the shot, and in the back of the net, Aguilar trying to keep it out. The shot taken and what a save!
We are back at Children's Mercy Park, where at halftime, Swope Park Rangers are leading Phoenix Rising FC by a score of 1-0. Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings here in USL. As we talked about it coming into this, Phoenix Rising in second place, in large part thanks to their fantastic away record, 4-0-1 away from home. Swope Park Rangers in sixth place on 16 points out of 10 games. Phoenix have played 11 games so far as they trail only Real Monarchs Carter Augustine for first place in the Western Conference, but still a long way to go in the season.
Sure is. Best ever start for Phoenix Rising in their franchise history. 21 points in their first 11 games. 4-0-1 on the road, but of course, that one is in jeopardy here as they trail at halftime. Still a long way to go, as Nate and Katie mentioned. But these two teams were tied on points at the end of the regular season, and the tiebreaker went to Swope Park Rangers. That's why they hosted the playoff game. So every one of these encounters so vitally important as we move on in the Western Conference. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Rangers. As we mentioned in the first half, this one game, just the one home game in a stretch of 6 games. They had a 3-game road trip before today, and they'll go back on the road for 2 more, and it's a big one next Saturday at St. Louis FC. Always a tasty one between these two in-state rivals.
Yeah, it's a fun one. They usually, both fan bases will travel a little bit and lend some support to one another, so that is a fun one. And then, of course, in the altitude at Colorado Springs the week after that, and in the altitude against Real Monarchs as well.
Well, they invite Real Monarchs here to Kansas City, and
not altitude here.
Monarchs, of course, having been so good over the last 2 seasons. That one has all the looks of a really important Western Conference battle as well. Let's take a look at the stats from the first half, Nate, as Swope Park Rangers lead by a score of 1-0. 4 corners, though, for Phoenix Rising, and 10 shots as they really started to ramp things up towards the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, the possession has been strongly in favor of Swope Park Rangers. Maybe they might not feel like enough has come from the possession at the end, but I will be interested to see if that possession starts to take a toll on the visitors as the game wears on, playing in this heat and humidity here. They're not afraid to pull the trigger. We've seen that with Phoenix, but they haven't put enough of those on target yet.
Interesting. Just one foul for Phoenix Rising, and it was the yellow card as Amadou Dia just on the edge of the area. Just avoiding a penalty kick given away for the visitors, but that's where we stand here at halftime. We got some exciting news for Swope Park Rangers fans to look forward to later on this season. It's a soccer giveaway.
I see what you did there.
Well, I didn't do that. Shout out to Jordan Burrell in the truck. But those are some really fun-looking USA-themed socks with the Swope Park Rangers involved. That will be in July against Real Monarchs SLC. That's the next home game that we were just talking about, Nate. Make sure you get out to the park early. It's a 7:30 kick, so you can see Swope Park Rangers take on Real Monarchs SLC and get your American-themed socks as well. Well, we've got more to come here from Children's Mercy Park. An intense first half encounter. The Swope Park Rangers lead by a score of 1-0 over Phoenix Rising FC, who will come out and take control of this second half. 3 points on the line in the Western Conference. Stay with us. We'll be back for the second half kick. Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. We're just about set to get started with the second half between the Swope Park Rangers and Phoenix Rising FC. And in fact, we are starting here. Swope Park Rangers starting with possession, and as the team switch sides, they'll be moving right to left. And there's a man on the ball that you may not recognize from the first half, as there's been a substitution at halftime. Chase Minter coming into the game for Wilson Harris. So Minter making his 7th sub appearance. He's by far the most used substitute for the Swope Park Rangers this season. And he'll get a look here in the second half. What'd you make of the first half performance, Nate Bukaty, of Wilson Harris as he's withdrawn here at halftime?
Didn't get a chance to do too much in this game. He did have a good shot opportunity that he didn't maybe hit with as much power as he would have wanted to. What I find interesting here, Carter, is it also involves a position switch. We saw Tyler Blackwood on the right-hand side in the first half with Haji Berry on the left and Wilson Harris up top. Now we're seeing Berry move from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, which means the poor guy's going to be stuck in the sunshine the entire game. He's on the far side of the field.
Drew the short shot, didn't he?
Yeah. Chase Minter comes in on the left-hand side, which pushes Blackwood from the wing up top. So a couple of position switches coming on with this substitution as well, with the Minter now patrolling the left-hand side on the near side here.
More experienced Blackwood now going to lead the line for this Swope Park Rangers team. A London native, of course, can spell with Sacramento Republic. Making his 7th start of the season. 6'2" as well, so a little more of something to aim at. Here's a ball in behind. Can Berry get there? He's charging onto it. Haji Berry just beaten to it. Zach Lubin off his line.
If that ball just had a little less hooking action on it and was able to tail in towards the middle of the field a little bit more, Berry is clean on with a one-on-one on the keeper. But I will say this, Zach Lubin was a little late coming off. There was some hesitation there.
Now the Rangers are in behind again. This time it's Blackwood. He tries to cut it back. Berry in the area, blocked away. Huge block, Mike DeFont. But 2 clear-cut opportunities for the Swope Park Rangers in the first 3 minutes here in the second half.
Good start for the home side, no doubt about it. That was great work from Blackwood down the right-hand side, and you might be able to see he and Berry interchanging a little bit.
Here they do just that. 1-2 with Blackwood and Berry just outside the area, and Blackwood eventually goes to turf. There's a clearance blocked by Minter. This could cause some problems for Phoenix Rising, and eventually James Musa just clearing his lines there. It's a really rough start to this second half for Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, that was really poor judgment by Devontae DeBose there. I think he thought that ball was going to roll out of play.
Here, first chance, see there. Yeah, you're right, Nate. Lubin just a little bit slow off his line, but he did just enough. And then Berry with his second chance, this one blocked away by DeFont.
And that one on the second block by DeFont, this is nitpicking a little bit, but I think that first touch by Berry was just a little, maybe a matter of inches too far to his right, and it caused him to take an extra step, which allowed the defender to come out and block it. We're going to see Amir Jidic go into the book. I don't think he minds taking this booking here, but he will have to be careful the rest of the game. There was a little bit of space down that right-hand side. He wanted to make sure that there wasn't a breakaway for Phoenix.
Yeah, for all the bright start that the Swope Park Rangers had, that was close to being a 2-on-2 heading the other way for Phoenix Rising.
It's one of those reminders of why you want to take advantage of the opportunities that you have to score a goal. Because right now the margin for error is not there.
Phoenix Rising still very much in this. It's been a shaky start to the second half for the visitors, but they have a free kick here, trailing by just a goal. Floated up into the area, and it's headed out to Tyler Blackwood. And can the Rangers perhaps find a counterattack here? This one just behind Hernandez, the pass, and allows Phoenix to get some white shirts in behind the ball. Lindsay going to charge forward. Blackwood, you can see the return in his eyes, but so too could the defense. slid away. Ball checks up, but good communication. Evans and Zendejas had it covered the whole way. Just the 200 games for Seattle Sounders, Brad Evans. An MLS Cup with the Sounders and with Columbus Crew to boot. Saravia, no look pass there to Minter. Minter trying to create room for a cross. Instead, he'll go back with Marr. Now Minter and Saravia causing problems on the left. It's a great ball in, and a thumbs up from Blackwood. He was just a step behind there. Wonderful idea from the substitute Chase Minter.
Yeah, good play on the left-hand side. Maybe it is the shade. We didn't see as much left-handed work from Swope Park Rangers in the first half, but of course Minter fresh into the game as well, maybe giving them a little more option on that left-hand side as well. But that was good build-up play, and he really fizzed that one in. It had some knuckling action almost, that cross. Blackwood maybe just a step slow trying to get there.
Here's Minter first to that ball, and that is a head-to-head collision. Second tough one we've had right around the center circle here today.
I think it's DeBose and Minter going after that ball, and of course the referee, it's at his discretion to blow a play dead if he thinks it's a serious injury, but if it's an injury involving the head, there's no discretion involved. He's under orders to stop play immediately, and that's the case for both of these players. Good to see both of them now sitting upright, though.
Scary one. You can see this one develop as Minter just sticking his head in here. So too DeBose, both players trying to win the ball. And that doesn't make it any less painful.
And Minter got there first. I think he could have been awarded a foul.
Yeah, I don't think one was given, Nate.
Doesn't appear that there's any blood involved for either side, which is a good thing.
Chase Minter coming over from Real Monarchs this past offseason, the 25-year-old. And now the Swope Park Rangers have a front three of Haji Berry and Chase Minter and Tyler Blackwood, guys well-versed in the USL and trying to kick on their careers with an opportunity here in Kansas City.
You want to have that balance of veteran players and young players on your squad, and we've seen that with Swope Park Rangers making it to the Cup final each of the first 2 years of the organization. And we just saw both players up to their feet again and seem to be okay here.
It's good signs as both of them walking away from that collision. Chase Minter, he was 21st overall pick in the 2016 Super Draft. Didn't wind up signing on and played most of his last season with Real Monarchs SLC. Of course, they had a fantastic year. The Monarchs last year with Minter playing in 19 games. Had 3 assists as well, did Minter. Saw a little bit of that on that delivery earlier on this half.
A Kansas City native with a lot of ties on that Monarchs team last year as well, and Nick Beasler, who is now playing with Real Salt Lake. His younger brother of Kansas City legend Matt Beasler.
There's that man Minter now. Beautiful crossfield diagonal, and he's found Lindsay in acres of space. Lindsay into Hernandez, his first touch is poor. But Minter creating some stuff on the edge of the area. Berry drawing it back. Lindsay lays it off for Hernandez. Back now to Lindsay. Oh, they just couldn't quite get a shot away, the Swope Park Rangers.
Almost looked like they wanted to pass that one all the way into the net, but a lot of good play from Swope Park Rangers there. And I think it all started with the new man on the field, Chase Minter. That diagonal ball was brilliant. Then he comes up with this takeaway. I like the unselfishness of Berry there. Now, I think Lindsay's just got to be ready to pull the trigger here. And I'm not sure if he pulled up short and wanted to put that one into the mixer. if he was trying to shoot it, he didn't catch it as cleanly as he would have liked to. But, you know, look, maybe that's the mindset a little bit. You're playing right back. You're thinking of yourself as a person getting everybody else in the mix. But once you're inside the 18, I think you've got to be ready. You've got to be a ready shooter, as they say. That was good play from Swope Park Rangers.
Minter really starting to get involved here quickly into the game. Second half substitute.
All that space for Lindsay.
He's had plenty of it on that right-hand side in attack here for the Rangers. He's got some work to do on the ball from Jidic, and actually can't get there, Jalen Lindsay, the youngster.
And see, I think that's where Silva maybe needs to be able to switch the field from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. That's something for me, just in my opinion, that maybe Swope could do a little bit better here in this game. Sometimes they get stuck on one side, and I think that if you sit, and of course it looks a lot easier up here, but when you're sitting up high and looking at the shape of the field, there's room for that switch. And when they have done the switch, like we saw from Minter, there's been a lot of space for the Swope Park Rangers, and it's caused some problems for the Phoenix backline. We're going to see a foul here. But that's something for me. If I'm Swope Park Rangers, I want to continue to switch from side to side, force those rotations from Phoenix, force them to chase, create that space, and I think they'll have more opportunities.
Second yellow card for Phoenix Rising. This time it's Jason Johnson, the captain. His challenge on Hernandez. It was a clever turn there from Hernandez to earn the foul, and still trying to pick himself up. Felipe Hernandez just giving up the 40 pounds and 5 inches. Jason Johnson. This time Hernandez is well seen after by Amadou Dia.
It's a good header by Brad Evans.
Keeps it locked into the attacking half with the Swope Park Rangers. Marr, though, gets it back to Phoenix Rising. And again, it's a header this time from Jidic that keeps it with the home side. How about that for a turn from Saravia, just shrugging off the challenge of Musa. Saravia laying it through. Barry in on goal on offside. He rounded the keeper. It won't matter.
Just got the timing of it off a little bit. I don't know if it was because Barry needed to hold that run for an extra second or if Saravia needs to unleash that pass a second earlier. Now, I think that's a bad call, first of all, is what we see here. That's not even close. He's well on. So I was about to be critical of the timing. Maybe that Saravia needed to get rid of that pass sooner. Nothing wrong from it from Swope Park Rangers, just a poor call that time.
That's a tough one for the Rangers as Barry was in one-on-one with Lubin, looked to have rounded him as well. And an offside flag goes up. You wondered maybe, as this one comes in, and Cortez, a couple of deft touches with his left boot in the area, but it's hacked away clear. We saw DeFont try and slide in there at the last second, stepping forward to try and make an interception, and maybe that just threw the far side AR off.
Well, he tried to step to draw the offside there, but he stepped late, and look, it's a difficult job being an AR. You've got to keep an eye on the back line and the ball when it's played at the exact same time. You don't get the benefit of the replay that we just did, but that was an unfortunate one because that was really good play from Swope Park Rangers. Would have led to a goal-scoring opportunity.
Specifically, Rodrigo Saravia turning Musa in midfield, showing great strength. And the weight on the pass was lovely as well.
And to go back to the start of that series of play, it all really began with me with the pressure up top by Tyler Blackwood, who I think has been very active at the point of the attack for Swope Park Rangers. That's part of the system, right? Initiating that high press, putting the back line under pressure when they do have the ball. And he's been very busy since switching over to that position here to start the second half.
It's a good ball for Dia, who just bides his time until he has enough time for a cross. And you see there the layoff. Phoenix Rising players asking for a handball, but they still have it in the attacking third. It's headed clear for a corner.
I don't know if there's a handball here or not, Carter, but I don't understand why Frater's not trying to head this on target. He's trying to chest it down. I think it's an ambitious leave-off attempt right there. You've got he had position, I thought. He had the step on the defender to try to head that thing on frame. I'm not sure why he didn't have a shot attempt there.
So nothing given on the handball. Here's the corner coming up, and it goes through a few players. It's a loose touch in the area by Brad Evans. Asante back onto it. Tries to touch it around Blackwood, who gets a vital touch and ushers it out for another corner.
Right at the hour mark, this is unconvincing from Swope Park Rangers trying to clear these balls. Now they're going to have to do it again.
We've seen quite a few corner attempts from Asante. This is a great one into the area. Dia, his header, just didn't get enough purchase on it. This one stood up to the back post. Zendejas is there. Oh, what a save, Adrian Zendejas.
Jason Johnson has to be wondering how he didn't score here. And how is he onside? Sneaks right in across the back line. Good save, and then a good reaction to pounce on top of it by Zendejas.
Johnson on the full stretch there, just manages to get it on frame. That's a great question, Nate. How did he manage to stay onside, Jason Johnson? Well, it was a good delivery on the initial corner as well from Asante. Dia just couldn't direct it towards goal, and then in the second phase, Adrian Zendejas with his biggest save of the afternoon.
It's two straight corners where Swope Park Rangers had a very difficult time clearing the ball. Led to a good opportunity for Phoenix. They've had the best two chances really since the goal was scored. One in the first half, a one-on-one situation that led to a kick save by Zendejas from Frater, and then that opportunity right there. So Zendejas has made two big saves to preserve this 1-0 lead for the home side.
Just has one shutout in his earlier 4 games, which is the rate that you're usually used to seeing from Zendejas. Here's Cortez into the area. Headed away by Jidic. And now Minter just a little bit loose, and can Lambert keep it in play? He can on the very end of the touchline, trying to get it in, and Evans stands up strong to the challenge of Frater. It was Kavan to Kavan there on the attempt for the visitors, as Minter just dawdling on the ball here inside his own defending third.
Evans had the position there, just got clattered into from behind by Frater.
Decent delivery from the wide area. Lambert.
You know, Carter, to go back to what you were saying about Adrian Zendejas and only the one clean sheet so far this year, if you wanted to say what the one common theme of the two back-to-back Western Conference title wins by Swope Park Rangers, what the one common theme was, you would maybe say that it was Adrian Zendejas. He was inserted into the lineup 2 years ago. Toward the end of the season, the team went unbeaten into the run-up to the playoffs, and then, of course, made it all the way to the conference finals. And then he was a big part of it last year, especially in that penalty shootout win of the conference final.
Where he saved one and scored it to send the Swope Park Rangers through, and just phenomenal numbers throughout his entire career. Adrian Zendejas in the USL. But again, limited this season to just his 5th start. Conceded 9 goals in his first 4, of course. He gave up 4 in one game. That will definitely affect your goal against average. Certainly rated highly. Here's a loose ball to Hernandez. Wanted to take on the shot, but space was closed down. Minter now deeper than Marr, and that pass just about gets past Lambert. Now Dia looking immediately forward for the run of Frater, who takes it well off the chest. Frater now has some options as he moves forward, sliding in across for Asante. Just a little wide, and Asante now cutting it to his right, and it's a fizzed-in cross straight into the hands of Adrian Zendejas. Just think the pass there from Frater just a little too wide for Asante. And Now, Dia's got to be careful. He's on a yellow card, Amadou Dia.
I don't understand why the referee's waving this one away. It was clear as day that Amadou Dia had his hand either around Barry or a fistful of his jersey. And to me, like you said, he's got to be careful. That's a bookable offense. And the referee didn't even see a foul there and waved it away. Look, it wasn't enough to bring the player down, but I've certainly seen players go to ground under such challenges just to make sure that they get the call. I don't understand why the referee saw nothing wrong with that. That's maybe not enough to bring a player down, but it's enough to slow a player down who's trying to get on the end of a through ball.
Wow, Phoenix Rising very close to taking that one away from Adrian Zendejas, and those are the differences here in this game, as slight margins like that pass just sneaking through, which leads to the Swope Park Rangers getting forward. Silva for Minter. Saravia tried to line up a shot. Just pass it back with Mateo Silva. He's found Marr in a ton of space. So too is Minter, and Marr finds it. Minter now, left-footed, low cross. Blackwood gets to it and touches it up to himself and actually gets some good power on the shot. And it's affected Zach Lubin here as he goes down after making the save.
Well, that was from very close range, and Blackwood hit it hard. He might just need a moment to collect himself here. But I really have liked what I've seen from both Minter and Blackwood here in this second half. It took a deflection up into his face.
Off the knee into the face there.
Let's go, White. Let's go, White. Let's go. Keep working. Keep working.
Going to be a sore one for Zach Lubin. As this pause in play. No, we'll get to a substitute here in a moment.
92. JJ.
No, it wasn't the referee's fault. It was Felipe Hernandez who either didn't see the board or maybe tried to ignore it. Referee getting his attention, and he will help facilitate the substitution, which will see the last of Felipe Hernandez in this game. And into the game comes Brian Rebellon, making his 5th substitute appearance of the season after he came over from the Jacksonville Armada in the offseason, the 26-year-old Colombian native.
Well, I thought Hernandez showed some really good things today. Had a couple of particular moments that stood out, particularly in the first half. Shot from 25 yards away that banged squarely off the post. Had the keeper beaten. He hit it really well, and he wasn't far away from what would have been a 2-0 lead and a big goal for him.
His day is done. Rangers with a 1-0 lead. Minter into the near post, headed away by Musa. Ushered back into the path of Minter. He'll take it first time with the right foot. This one, not the best of deliveries from Minter, but he keeps it in play with a smart header back with Mateo Silva. It's a poor pass from Silva, and that could lead to a one-on-one counterattack. It really should have. It's offside, actually, in the end from Frater, but what a poor giveaway there from Mateo Silva, who, boy, he's been let off the hook there by Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, here in the 69th minute, and Asante with the good steal, but his through ball wasn't good, and the player he was trying to get it to was in an offside position. So Phoenix, with a couple of mistakes, not allowing them to capitalize on the poor giveaway.
That will be the last action for Kevon Frater as he tried to charge forward onto that one. He'll be substituted off, as will Devontae DeBose. And checking in to the game, Alessandro Righi, as well as Devin Vega, former U.S. Youth International. So we'll see how that affects how Phoenix Rising line up. Doesn't look to be a straight swap as of now. Actually, yeah, it looks like James Musa might be dropping back into the center half. Nate, Katie, give you an update on how these substitutions affect the shape of Phoenix Rising.
And for now, Musa does appear to be dropping back into the left center half role. There he is right there.
Minter trying to keep this one in bounds. He does. Finds the feet of Saravia. Good first touch pass from Blackwood. Minter looking for the return to Blackwood. A decent delivery, but well defended. Clever touch there from Johnson. Oh, he's done really well to keep that in play, but just some lazy forward play there from Chris Cortez.
Yeah, no excuse for that. No excuse to be offside in that situation. If you're Cortez, you can see the back line there.
Maybe he just didn't expect Jason Johnson to get out of that pickle. That was wonderful footwork from Johnson on the near sideline.
He's going to get a water break now with the rest of the players. But, boy, if you're his teammate, you get yourself out of that pickle, you make a great pass, and it results in an offside flag. You're not very happy with it. But I'm sure Cortez isn't happy with himself either because he just denied himself an opportunity.
Chance to run one-on-one with the defender there had he just stayed level. Well, this second half water break in these hot conditions allows us to talk about USL Instagram. Want to watch to get exclusive video content and photography from across the USL? Make sure to follow the league's official Instagram account at USL Soccer. Second half water break underway. Just under 20 minutes in regulation here. And Nate Bukaty still appears at 3 points all up for grabs here in this Western Conference encounter.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The Phoenix Rising have had a couple of opportunities in this game. Really good saves from Adrian Zendejas, one in the first half, one in the second half, to keep it at 1-0. I've seen some good things from Swope Park Rangers in the second half, but there have been a couple of near breakdowns. I think Phoenix need to be a little more organized in the attack from time to time, as they've had a couple of vital offside flags come up here of late. But I think good play from that man right there, Adrian Zendejas, so far. You mentioned that he hasn't been playing every single game for Rangers. He's been in the 18 for multiple Sporting Kansas City games this year. Eric Dick, who was a first-round draft pick by Sporting Kansas City, has kind of been alternating with him.
Fantastic game last weekend, Eric Dick saving a penalty to earn that his first career professional shutout.
And I think it's a real battle between those two who are showing that they have the quality to play very well at this level.
Very fascinating to see this stable of goalkeepers that the Swope Park Rangers can draw upon. Well, Phoenix Rising trying to avoid being shut out for just the second time this season. The only other time they've been shut out was one of their 2 losses, and that was to Real Monarchs. So Swope Park Rangers would be in some good company if they could hand Phoenix Rising just their second goose egg on the year. There's a big physical challenge between Jidic and Cortez. And now Rigi trying to get in behind. Some shouts from the men in white shirts.
Well, the referee certainly let some of that hand fighting go on. Been consistent in that regard.
Certainly has all afternoon long. Sarabia was just waiting for Minter to try and run in behind. Good strength, though, from Duigi Mala, who started the game at center back. And now the Ivory Coast born player moving out to right back. Wonder if Didier Drogba had a hand in recruiting Duigi Mala from Williamsville AC in the Ivory Coast.
Be no bigger legend in that country than Didier Drogba.
Just attributed with stopping the Civil War in that country, so maybe his soccer exploits are far behind other stuff he's done for his people in Cote d'Ivoire.
Soccer brings the world together, Carter.
Certainly does.
It's going to do so here in about 20 days, isn't it?
Really excited for the World Cup on the near horizon.
There's that switch I'm talking about, Carter. There's space there.
This time it was Sarabia who found the pass out to Jalen Lindsay, who's been calling for it all afternoon. Rebellon just coming into the game to perhaps calm things down. Again, some commentators cursed as he tried to dribble past the player Well defended on the far side by Alessandro Righi. Throw in deep in the attacking half for Jalen Lindsey. Finds the feet of Rebellon. Phoenix readying their third and final substitution here of the game on the sidelines. But it's the Swope Park Rangers who are moving from left to right, and it's a good opening. Haji Berry now trying to find the back post run of Tyler Blackwood, and well, couldn't quite tell if that was a cross or a shot. I thought he was looking for Blackwood.
I think he was. He didn't have the wind up there that would tell me he was going for the shot. I think he tried to pick out Blackwood at the far post here. Yep. He's just
seen it in his eyes there, couldn't you?
Blackwood was starting to dart inside a bit. Boy, that's a good ball. Blackwood's going to be disappointed he couldn't get himself on the end of that one.
Well, for all his good work that he's done, Tyler Blackwood, in this second half leading the line, that's his second or third one where he's just been a foot behind the cross. Perhaps not the natural instincts of a natural goal scorer in that 9 position.
And it is just a matter of a step here or there, you know, or a half a second. There was that really good through ball that he had the opportunity to get onto in the first half from Jalen Lindsey. But I do like what he's done from an activity standpoint. He's been very busy up top.
Yeah, the Rangers' attack has looked a lot more dangerous here in this second half with him leading the line, hasn't it?
Well, obviously, you want goals from your number 9. There's no doubt about that. But you know, one of the things I always look at is how difficult is, how many problems is he causing?
Here's a step over from Jason Johnson. Talking about problems, he's the one man for Phoenix Rising creating those for the SPR backline at the moment.
Yeah, but nobody's getting there for Phoenix, and there was no one even in the area that time as he put that ball across the 6.
So this will be the third and final substitution for the visitors as their leading scorer, Chris Cortez, withdrawn. Checking in, Gladson Owako. Another Ghanaian onto the field for this Phoenix Rising side, and got a great connection with TP Mazembe, Congolese club, an African powerhouse in the club scene. Gladson Owako, one of those players coming over from TP Mazembe, who signed in September of last year. So didn't really get to make his mark with Phoenix Rising last season.
Well, Carter, Adrian Zendejas is going to be booked here in the 78th minute for time wasting, and the reason that the referee is giving him the yellow card here, he had lined his players up to take the short goal kick after the substitution. Then as soon as the subs came on, he sent his players up the field to send it long. The referee felt like that was unnecessary time wasting, and the case that Swope Park Rangers would make there was, look, we were going to try to play short. The pressure came from Phoenix, so we sent everybody up the field. But and we know across the United States that's an initiative to try to keep play moving. So now Zendejas will have to mind his P's and Q's the rest of this one.
Yeah, real point of emphasis this season for referees. Rebellon was quick to get to his feet there and tried to slide it in behind, but Defont was alert to the danger. Saravia now trying to flick it behind with Minter. Again, good defending this time by Mala. Keep up to date with all of the best social media from around the league as Kelsey Steele hosts Off the Post every Friday through the league's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. Saravia shrugged off in midfield by Kevon Lambert. And now Righi trying to stride forward. He's got a fortunate bounce there through the double team, and he's picked out a good pass wide right with Vega. Vega now into Righi's feet and just stuck to his boot there. Alessandro Righi, and
well, that's your number 9, Tyler Blackwood, tracking all the way back to break that play up.
Fantastic work right there from Blackwood as he sensed alert on that counter attack. And as you mentioned, Nate, that's just great play from your forward on the edge of his own box, making a crucial tackle.
A man down for Swope Park Rangers here, and it's Mateus Silva. Referee's going to keep the training staff off the field this time, Carter, but to go back to it, that's the action we've seen from Blackwood so far. Yeah, he wants goals, but he's been busy. His work rate has been, I think, fantastic for Swope Park here in the second half.
There they are standing. The goal kick up towards Blackwood, but DeFont shows good strength. Wins the header. Now heads it back to his goalkeeper. Under 10 minutes to play here in regulation. 1-0 to score on the early goal from Haji Berry. We've seen chances for both sides after that opener. Neither one able to make the chance tell. So we just have the 1-goal margin. Asante. That one's gonna sting off the face of Parker Marr and out for another corner kick.
He took that one right off the temple.
Still feeling it.
Trying to make sure he still all his taste buds.
Joplin native is a short taking corner. Rigi now with a great delivery. And Lambert just got under that one.
Lambert might be a lucky boy to escape a booking here. I think he's frustrated that he didn't put a better attempt on that first opportunity than when Zendejas went up for the rebound, threw his shoulder right into the goalkeeper, and I think that's the case that Zendejas is making right now. Take another look at it, but that's a dangerous ball in. Gotta try to get that one on frame, popped it straight up into the air instead. I don't know if that's a booking there, but I think he knows what he's doing.
Half-hearted challenge for the ball.
He's got no chance to get there, but I don't think he's going to do any damage to Zendejas in that situation.
It's a quickly taken corner that just about caught the Rangers out of sorts. It certainly caught me off guard. We've seen Solomon Asante take most of those corner kicks. This time it was Alessandro Rigi. Has Blackwood stayed on side? He has. Now he can run at James Musa one-on-one. Blackwood just overextending his touch there, and Dia coming over to help. Can't keep it in play, but nullifies the danger for now.
That's been kind of the story for Blackwood so far. Good action. Put himself in a dangerous position, made a good run, but just that half of a second off or that half of a foot off, that time his touch as he tried to run to the defender, showed too much of the ball.
Berry posting up, and now he's got the turn in the area. Just tried to slide it through to Minter. This time for Blackwood. Blocked away by Mala.
I don't think Blackwood caught that one as well as he needed to.
Important touch for Minter there, and Rebellon able to just about get to his feet. He's picked out a good ball as well. Marr into the area. First cross blocked. Second one for Minter, just straight into the chest of Lambert.
What a ball that was from Rebellon.
It's a tough take for Rigi, and too tough a take in the end. Silva just coming over to marshal the middle of the park. Time running out for Phoenix Rising to avoid their second consecutive defeat after such a fantastic start to the 2018 season.
I think you're at the point of the game now where if you're Swope Park Rangers, this is all about seeing this one out. If they can add a second goal to put it away, obviously they'll take it. But this is about game management at this point. You've got yourself a 1-goal lead at home, less than 7 minutes remaining. You've got to come away with all 3 points. I think that's the challenge in a game like this. It's about game management. Don't make any silly mistakes. Don't get yourself caught out of position. Obviously, you'll see some gamesmanship like this right here from Adrian Zendejas to kill as much time as possible. You don't want to become too passive and allow Phoenix to just come up the field. So how does this young Swope Park Rangers team manage this game? Because this obviously would be a big 3 points in the Western Conference if they can hold on to it. Sure, you love to have that 2-3 goal performance, but your coaches talk about it time and time again. You have a 1-goal lead late on your home field. You expect to come away with 3 points every time, and it's really just about smartly managing the game.
Yeah, that's what good teams do, right, Nate? They see these 1-0 leads into 1-0 victories. That's the task here for the Swope Park Rangers as we move into the last 5 minutes of regular time. Minter has it stolen away by Mala. Good pressure, though, from Rebellon. He's forced an errant pass from Defont. That's good tracking back, though. Asante, he's won it back for the visitors. Early ball, and just a dangling foot there from Jidic. Just about saw the run of Jason Johnson.
Good to see that Amir Jidic did his yoga practice before the match today. I think that was the swan pose.
Neither of us want to try that one. Reaching all the way behind him to pluck that one. It was a good entry pass.
Well, and an awkward
Attempted
one
by
for
Awako.
Jidic, because he's running in one direction and had to stick that leg out in the opposite direction and really dealt with it well.
Good spell of possession now for the Swope Park Rangers. Saravia battling for it. And referee, neither of them wanting to give a call. Just about the Phoenix Rising throw-in. Well, it's a +10 goal differential for Phoenix Rising. Well, +9 now. Came into the game as the second best in the league. Most goals in USL, most shots. They've been held scoreless as of yet. And you can hear, I believe Patrice Carteron wanted a foul there.
He wants more than a foul, he wants a yellow. He gets the foul, but not the yellow.
Still giving the head referee a piece of his mind. There'll be another set piece for Phoenix Rising, and they've made a couple of these turn into really good opportunities throughout this afternoon. Solomon Asante stepping up. Delivers a good ball into the box, flipped on. And the second touch from Musa drifts out of play. It's a wonderful flick on the initial delivery from Asante.
I don't think that Swope Park Rangers will be happy with the way they've defended some of these corners and set pieces in the second half. Two different Phoenix players able to get on the end of this, and for Musa, look, that's a tough one. You're catching it off of the second ball there.
Came up on him quickly. Sliding challenge from Lindsay. It's some approval from the bench.
Ooh, I don't know about this one. Blackwood was working his way back on side, and I thought he was working hard to get back on side. It appeared to me that Lindsay was checking to make sure that Blackwood was on side before he played the ball, but the referee's assistant on the far side had a good look at it.
It's a good step from Rebellon. He steals it away from Rigi. Blackwood just trying to pump it out left to Minter. It's deflected away. Which teams are hitting peak performance in the USL? Find out every Monday afternoon when the USLsoccer.com power rankings are released to see where your team sits after its most recent results. These are the two teams up near the top of those power rankings. Still dueling here in Kansas City, Kansas. Trying to come away with all 3 points. Swope Park Rangers with a 1-0 lead. Here's the last substitution of the game, Camilo Benitez. Gonna come in for the goal scorer, Haji Berry. What do you make of Haji Berry's afternoon, Nathan Katie?
Well, he's got the game winner as it stands right now. We talk about it a lot of times, Carter. How many games are won versus how many games are lost by mistakes? How many games are decided because of great play? How many games are decided because of a mistake? And I think this one, obviously, it was a big mistake by Zach Lubin, the goalkeeper, but you have to give credit to Haji Berry for being in the right place and then taking advantage of it. Again, still had to work his way around a defender to put that goal home, so give him all the credit. And right now, for Swope Park Rangers, they're a matter of minutes away, maybe seconds away from seeing this one out.
We're in the final minute of regulation here. Swope Park Rangers leading through that Haji Berry goal. Camilo Benitez coming on for his 5th substitute appearance, 6th appearance overall this season. The SKC Academy product. And one of the Carolina connection that we're starting to see a pipeline develop. And now
he's on.
Physical challenge, and Blackwood turns up, sees the ball right behind him, cutting into the area. Tyler Blackwood saved by Lubin off the post. And another save from Lubin. Benitez off the crossbar. And the Rangers have to be wondering how they haven't put this game to bed.
How in the world did they not score here? Blackwood finds himself fortunate to have the ball fall to him onside. It's a great fingertip save to push the first one off the woodwork. Then a good rebound save. That one's got to be in the back of the net right there by Minter, and it bangs off the crossbar. So a post, a save, and a crossbar all in the span of about 5 seconds to keep this one still in reach for Phoenix.
Somehow that ball has stayed out of the back of Zach Lubin's net. You have to give him massive props for the first save. Fingertip onto the post. And he got up to handle the rebound from Sarabia as well.
The Phoenix Rising backline kind of fell asleep there, allowing Blackwood. The ball just fell to him. I guess they thought he was in an offside position, but he clearly was not. So you got to give Lubin a lot of credit on that initial save, particularly. Just got enough on it with the fingertips to push it off the bar, or the post, I should say.
It's a challenging pass. It's a foul against a trio of Swope Park Rangers players. Take a look again at behind him. Another
Cutting
angle
into the
here. Fantastic save off the post.
That's nestling in the side netting.
And actually, on second look, that save from Sarabia is a decent one as well, angling towards the far post.
I think Minter's going to be mad at himself for not putting that third chance away. Hit the bar. Keeper was out of position by that point, had time to measure it up. Just needs to drive it in low.
Offside here on this free kick from the Phoenix Rising. As you see on the screen, 4 minutes of stoppage time. We are into that. So time running out for the Phoenix Rising to try and claw back a point here. Of course, they got a 90th minute equalizer at home earlier on this season between these two teams. Solomon Asante earning a point for Phoenix in that particular encounter, a 2-2 draw in April. Is there one more chance left in this game? Lubin waiting for his team to pump forward. This one goes sky high. Johnson wins the header. Lindsay is there to clean up the second ball. Here, Paulo Nagamura yelling out encouragement to his young right winger, Camilo Benitez. And now a foul against Amadou Dia, and that is a crucial one here in the latter stages of this game. Just going to allow Swope Park Rangers to deflate a little bit more of this clock. Really seen Dia foray into attack like he was known in his days here in Kansas City.
That was really, I thought, one of his best attributes was from that fullback position, the ability to get forward. But like you said, really haven't seen it at all. Might not be part of what they're looking for him to do in Phoenix.
It's a last-ditch challenge by Brad Evans, and he just gets it spot on. The speedy Jason Johnson giving him problems there.
And that might be the one to see the game out here. Just seconds remaining now.
Can Phoenix carve out one final chance here? Miscommunication, Defont and Mala. In the end, it's Mala who pops it into the air, headed away by Lindsay. Referee takes a look at his stopwatch. Says play on that challenge, so some time here for Phoenix. Still loose in midfield. And Asante coming forward one-on-one with Mar. First time cross to the back post, still alive. Can Owako get there? He can. Gladson Owako keeps it in play.
You have to think one clearance now and the game's over.
Dia has his cross deflected. Will it go out for a corner? No. Big play, Jalen Lindsay, to keep that one limited to just a throw. First time cross. Jidic is there to head it away. And that will do it. The Swope Park Rangers stay undefeated at home in 2018 with a huge victory over the second place Phoenix Rising FC. Haji Berry gets the game-winning goal, his 4th of the season. 1-0 the final score. Nate Bucati, what'd you make of today's thrilling Western Conference encounter?
If you want to know about the conditions of this game, just look at the players slumped on the field right now here at Children's Mercy Park. Yes, we talked a lot about it, but I think any man that just spent the last 90 minutes running around on that field would tell you that we didn't make too much of it. It's hot, it's humid, it's the middle of the day, the hottest part of the day here in Kansas City. These players need to hydrate after this one is over. But for Swope Park Rangers, I think they deserved all 3 points in this game. Yes, there was a big mistake by Zach Lubin, the goalkeeper, to lead to the only goal in this game. But I thought Swope Park Rangers on the balance of this one were the team that drove the action. They had the possession. They had the better of the chances. I will say that Adrian Zendejas made 2 big saves for Swope Park Rangers as well to preserve the shutout. But if anything, I think Rangers feel a little unlucky maybe not to come away with 2 goals at least in this one. So job done. They sought out a clean sheet for Adrian Zendejas, which I think he earned here today, and a big 3 points for Swope Park Rangers.
Big 3 points for Paolo Nagamura and the Swope Park Rangers as they win by a score of 1-0 over Phoenix Rising FC. Stick with us. We'll be right back for all the highlights and stats and analysis from this game. Again, final score, Swope Park Rangers 1, Phoenix Rising FC 0. Three points in the bag for the Swope Park Rangers as they get a big-time victory over Phoenix Rising FC. Haji Berry with the goal in the early stages of this one. And the Swope Park Rangers were able to see it all the way out, get a clean sheet as well against Phoenix Rising. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final stats from today's game. And these are the stats in a game which is only the second time this season in which the Phoenix Rising have been shut out. It's a shutout victory for the Swope Park Rangers. Nate Bucati, what sticks out to you in the numbers?
Well, the possession I thought was big, and we talked about it from start to finish. We thought with the model of play for Swope Park Rangers that they would have the edge of possession, particularly at home, but I thought they took that possession and they really made things difficult for Phoenix to really create too many good opportunities. Yeah, they got 13 shots off. Only a couple of them I thought were dangerous shot attempts. Those were two of the three saves by Zendejas I thought were difficult saves. But for Swope Park Rangers, I thought really they had the run of play in this game.
So for the Swope Park Rangers, that brings them up to 19 points after 11 games. Phoenix Rising staying on 21 points, having played 12. So good chance for the Rangers to close the gap. And this man, Haji Berry, was the game winner with a goal inside the opening 5 minutes. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for today's broadcast on this Memorial Weekend of soccer action. We saw the Swope Park Rangers carry out a Western Conference encounter with the Phoenix Rising. They get their first victory in regulation over Phoenix Rising in the club's history. For Brad Zimmerman, Jordan Burrell, Jason Briley, the rest of our wonderful crew, Nate Bucati, I'm Carter Augustine. Thanks again for joining us. Final score, Swope Park Rangers 1, Phoenix Rising FC 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.